Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, today is Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve to everyone. I hope you guys are having a great start to your holiday. Me, I get to chill. I got one more day to myself, and then I go get my kiddo tomorrow, and then she's with me until I don't know. It sounds like she'll be with me at least for the first week that they go back to school. And so I've just been planning for that, making sure I got enough food in the fridge, stuff like that. Really just striving to ensure that I budget so that she has everything that she needs, that she can enjoy her Christmas, stuff like that. I just got my Christmas meal. Finally, I may have to step out. I was trying not to step out for a few things, but I may have to for just a little bit today. But outside of that, you guys, I'm really excited for Christmas. And I think part of me is just excited to be able to do it my way this year and really do it in a manner that I know that I can be consistent, right? With. Now, my daughter did not get a lot of physical presents. She's got about four, maybe five underneath the tree. I've been seeing some people's presents, and I'm like, God damn! Again, I only got one kid, bro, and all my Christmas presents have been given to me, right? And I'm past the age of where I'm expecting like a present from my family, stuff like that, right? So, my Christmas is over. Really, this is just about her and ensuring that she knows like mommy can do this, right? But she got a ton of gift cards, so she's got about 100, maybe 150 in gift cards. So the plan is, and this is just usually how I do it, Christmas starts early for me and it ends later for her. So meaning that this week, this coming week, around school and everything, I mean around my work, she's going to be shopping so she can carry her own bags, get whatever she wants. I just didn't want to give her a bunch of gift cards and then there's no presents under the tree, right? So I got her gift cards to her favorite places that she's always bugging me to shop at, and that shit is expensive. As you guys know, Claire's, Five Below. Five Below is not expensive. But I think it would be cool. Like I told her, like my dad always gave me the option of doing like a shopping spree, right? And so I just want the kid to be able to spend the money, carry the bags, get what she wants. I think that that's actually pretty cool. And then obviously as she gets older, I'm just going to start giving her straight cash, cash, gift cards, whatever. Because she's not a baby anymore and she's at a stage where it's like, okay, well, I buy you Barbies. Are you going to play with them? Like as a kid, they play with shit like that. She's crossing over into the preteen stage. So I'm like, I don't really know what you like, and I don't think she really knows what she likes, right? So this would be cool. I think it's a good way to do the Christmas. Obviously, we got the tree. And then I've got dinner planned. So I'm super, super excited because I'm going to strive to utilize my air fryer. Okay. For most of it, not all of it, but most of it. Okay. Because I like my air fryer. It's just kind of cool to use. And so that's where I'm at. And then I did do a baked potato in my air fryer, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. I'm sure that I could perfect it by maybe letting the potatoes soak just a little bit more. However, the baked potato was the bomb. Okay. So I can only imagine what my Brussels sprouts are going to come out looking like. Okay. And tasting like. So I'm real excited for Christmas. Right. And I want to be clear, you guys. I've worked hard for this, right? I was able to get what I wanted for Christmas. I'm able to get the kids some Christmas. We actually got a tree, we got lights. And this is a big deal for me because last year we didn't have all that, right? So this is where I'm at with things. My dad calls me at like 8 something. It had to be like 10 o'clock where he was. And he calls me at 8 something, and I just remember watching the call just call. There was a time where my dad would call me, y'all, and I would answer right away because that was my daddy. I was a daddy's girl, right? I don't think I'm much of a daddy's girl anymore. And I'm gonna be very clear. My life, I don't think my family understands just how much my life has changed without them. I don't know that I'm really willing to allow any of my family members to be a part of my life. You know what I mean? And it's hard because I grapple between the way that I was raised versus my everyday reality. I have gone through stuff that I could never count on my family to help me for. I always had to go to strangers, white people, right? The same people black people be down in, right? Are the same people who really have made a difference in my life. And I don't know what that is because I know there's a lot of racists out there, quote unquote. However, white people have helped me get to where I'm at more than any other race. Okay. And that's the facts. So when black people talk about, and I have this hard battle again because I know that Section 8 is not how I got to where I needed to be, right? Government assistance, they just sent me a letter talking about I make too much. Okay. They're about to kick me off of my health insurance. And I ain't used that since I started my job. And I got health insurance through my job. So I ain't worried about all that, right? But just to give some context, like there is no white person helping me in terms of systematic, right? At least what they try, black people try to say. I didn't know how to drive at 27. Whose fault is that? Partly maybe mine, right? But most people know how to drive before they turn 18. So let me be very clear. Whose fault was that? It took a white lady who actually was making fun of me. She was actually laughing at me because I didn't know how to drive at 27. And I think she felt guilty because she was really making a mockery of the fact that I didn't know how to drive. And I didn't really get agitated with her because white people are very subtle. So in that situation, it may have irritated me, but if I was to overreact, I would have been looking crazy, right? And I know how this plays out, right? But eventually, I must have said something to the lady enough for her to say, you know what, bitch? You finna drive my new Altima. At that time, it was a brand new Altima. This is a rich lady. I've never seen her again, but I will never forget her, right? She said, okay, I'm going to take off of work. I'm going to take off of my job to ensure that I can take you to this DMV to help you get your goddamn license. So let me be clear. When I go through situations like this, right? And I hear my family making all these fucking excuses for why they didn't do what they did. Do you know that does something for your psyche? That does something to you? Because with this white lady that didn't know me from a can of paint, I was not a grandchild. I'm not a child. I'm clearly nobody to this lady, right? Literally tells me, I'll take you to go out and learn how to drive. Really? Yeah, it's no problem. So on lunch, because she was my team member, on lunch, she would take me to go drive her car. And then what ended up happening, see, this is why I love working with minorities, right? Because my supervisor at the time was an Asian woman, beautiful, tall. I loved her so much, Asian woman. Okay. And I remember the old white, she was a rich white lady. She could have been considered racist in any other situation. She just, again, I think that some of these people are far advanced enough to know that if I'm making fun of you and I have the means to fix it, I probably should. Again, I'm not expecting this to happen to everybody and or me again, but I do believe that God will place angels, and I say this all the time. People come in the form of angels. Whether they're an angel to somebody else is a whole nother conversation. But for your life, for where you are going, God is going to put people in your life to ensure that you get there. Do you understand me? So while it was embarrassing to have to be like, yeah, 26, 27, I don't know how to drive. It was a white lady who didn't owe me not a goddamn thing who took me to that DMV. She asked our boss, can I take off to go with her to the DMV so she can test drive in my car? And then when they were trying to give me all types of headache, because let me be clear, they were not trying to let me drive, right? This lady was going ham because what happened is she only had a driver's license or the license plate on the back of her car. In the state of Colorado, in order to test drive in a personal car, you have to have both license plates on the front. Do you know that lady she was cussing, she was yelling at them white people. Oh, she was not having it. But do you know that lady took the time out of her day to get that license plate up on the front of her car just to ensure that I got my driver's license today? Do y'all understand that? So the magnitude of that, right? Understanding that it was a stranger who helped me where I feel like my family should have been the ones to help me, right? So fast forward 3 years later, I am homeless. I go to my family. I ask my family for help. They don't want to help me. I've got a job. It's not like I don't have shit going. I need a roof over my head to keep shit going. They don't want to help me. My cousin lets me stay. She doesn't give me a time frame, right? Was there for 3 days. The day I go to work. Now, keep in mind, it was probably like a Friday, maybe a Saturday, Sunday, and then a Monday, right? It was only 3 days. Do you know when I got off of work, my cousin says, oh, well, you got to find somewhere else to stay. After Sunday, she tells me, hey, you've changed. You've grown a lot. Oh, my God, it's been such a pleasure having you in my house. Huh. Well, the day I get off of work, as soon as I get off of work, I find out I have to go. I don't got nowhere to go. So, my daughter's father, which was very interesting because I had no one else to turn to. My daughter's father paid for one room for one night. And he thought it was going to go further. But again, I think I'm mean enough to my daughter's father where I believe that he knows that shit ain't an option. Okay. So he pays for a hotel room for a night, right? One of my really good guy friends came to visit to make sure like presence was known. Like people knew you don't fuck with me at this hotel because there's people there. So that's one thing I will always say is I always had people to support me through that phase of my life. And I remember when he found out, because I was crying, I was telling him, man, I'm in this hotel. Yeah, that shit's heartbreaking, especially when you know that you're doing everything in your power, right, to ensure that you get to where you gotta go. And the people that you feel like you should count on, again, were not available. So I'm calling my friend at the time, and he stops by for like 2 seconds, brings me like he had purchased some ganja, brings me some ganja. So because he knows this is a stressful time period, I need to calm the fuck down. And at that time, that's all I did, right? Brings me some ganja, and then he leaves. And I remember making my decision from that day forward. Like I'm never dealing with my family ever again. Okay. Because I have gone through a lot of disappointments at the hands of my family, and my family, for some reason, right? No matter what, they feel like it's justified, but then they find all these excuses. They want to apologize, but then they keep doing the same shit over and over again. I get tired of it. I'm at an age at that point where it's like, listen, I'm not a kid no more. You're not going to be able to treat me because ultimately I can choose to have you in my life and keep fighting the same battle of not feeling loved, not feeling supported, not having real family. Like there's no reason strangers should be doing for me what my family should have done. It is what it is, right? So I made a decision. I will never need my family, and that includes my father, ever again. See, y'all have to understand, my daughter does not know her family. Straight up. She has no idea who these people are. She knows her cousins for the sake of me trying to build a bridge so that she can have cousins to play with. That shit is over. My daughter don't know them. She loves the girls because she's like, oh, you cool. Like my sister is technically, she ain't my sister. She is my cousin. So I don't know that I really want to go down the path of lying to my daughter as to who her family really is. They did that with me and they thought it was the best thing for me, but it's crazy because you're telling me my birth mom is not my mom, but neither one of these motherfuckers adopted me, right? You take me into your care, you raise me up. I didn't know I had another mom until my mom that wasn't my mom got tired of me, right? You never adopted me. So any military benefits that I should have received as a kid, I didn't get. Anything that when it came to me, it was so easy to throw me away, right? So easy to throw me away. And y'all have to understand, everybody expected me to fall. Every last one of these motherfuckers. So now that it's Christmas in 2024, and we're now, what, 6 years past when I learned how to drive, right? And now I'm doing well for myself. It took a white man to come in and say, no, sweetheart, because it's very funny. I got an ex-boyfriend talking about, oh, you're just doing so well. And I know that you were always better than me. But I'm thinking, it's amazing how when I got rid of the boy in my life, the boyfriend in my life, the relationship bullshit in my life, how all of a sudden my life just changed for the better. That's really what happened. I didn't have to go to no therapy. I mean, therapy is always good. I'm sure I probably need therapy, right? I'm not saying that I don't have further growth. I'm just saying basic shit like that. So where my ex is thinking, oh, well, you're just so much better than me. And I'm looking like, yeah, my life is reflecting that. My life is reflecting that because I got rid of you, now I'm doing 10 times better. It's amazing how those things happen, right? So my dad calls me. Let's bring it full circle. My father calls me on last night. And in my mind, I have not talked to my father since, like, it's been almost a year since I talked to my father. Now, I look at my situation. I'm grateful that I am where I'm at now, right? But if the sake of calling me is to talk to my daughter as if you're her grandfather, that's not an option. Like, I'm done lying. I did not like being lied to as a kid. I damn sure ain't about to lie to my kid, bro. You ain't putting no money in her pocket. You ain't doing nothing that a grandpa should be doing for his granddaughter. So what the fuck do I look like turning around and being like, oh yeah, your grandpa called once a year on Christmas because at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock his time. The fuck? I'm not nobody's afterthought, and my daughter's not nobody's afterthought. See, because grandpas, there should have been well communication prior to last night at 10 o'clock. You're her fucking grandfather. You mean to tell me you want to call the day before Christmas Eve? My daughter, last time I checked, there was nothing being sent to her for Christmas. And if you did give a fuck, like, again, it's not normal grandfather behavior. Right? Because my grandma, let me be very clear. My grandma, we knew we were getting something from my grandma every Christmas, right? My grandparents in the summertime, right? Hey kids, why don't y'all come out here and hang with us for Christmas? Or for summer. My daughter don't get none of that. She does not know these people. She's never met her quote unquote grandpa. So now you want to call me after a whole year has gone by? Huh? So I'm confused. The only way, and this is the hardest part when I say it's hard because of how I was raised, I was always raised to respect my elders. And so I can't help but to go back and forth. Well, I know he's calling. It's New Year's Eve or about to be New Year's Eve. I know he's calling to say Merry Christmas, right? That's my assumption. However, as a non-adopted daughter, if something, and then I think about, okay, well, maybe something could happen. Maybe he's dying. Maybe something's going on. But I only got called once and my sister didn't call me. So I'm assuming everything is all right. Then I think, well, I don't know that I really want to call him back because I worked so hard to get rid of people. And I really mean this with sincerity, right? That made me question their love for me, right? I should never have to tolerate. Like, I'm over the face. Like, my family really thinks that I owe them something. I don't owe now one of these motherfuckers a goddamn thing. After everything that I've gone through in my life, I don't owe them shit. Do you understand me? And everything that I do is because I love these people, not because I have to. So even with my father, even being a father's girl, y'all got to understand, I was a daddy's girl up until 3 years ago when I made that decision. This shit ain't working for me. This ain't a father. Because let me be clear, when the white man stepped into my life and he said, I'm going to take you in my home, it was the white man that took a chance on me. Do you understand that? Do you understand how bad that fucks with your psyche? I just want y'all to really understand that shit. Black people talk so much shit about white people, but it was the white man that said, bitch, you remind me of my daughters. You remind me of my daughters who are also black, right? So because I don't have my daughters here, my house is empty. I got 2 fucking bedrooms empty. You come stay with me. The first 6 months, I didn't have to pay them shit because I didn't have shit, right? Made sure that I ate, made sure, like, really was a father to me. The shit that my daddy should have been doing, this white man did. And for those of y'all who say, well, you know, you was a grown ass, whatever. Well, tell that to my sister, who is also a grown ass, whatever, but got to stay with her daddy, right? We got the same father, right? The little girl that's a felon got to stay with her daddy. But see, I'm nobody's blood kid. You see what I'm saying? So it's easier to dismiss me. See, my daddy would give me money. That was his way of trying to make up for the fact that I was not physically in his care. So anytime I called my daddy would give me $200, $300, $500. But when you really look at the grand scheme of things, I was just working my daddy. My daddy, when I really look at that money did not help me. And it probably could have if I put it to good use. And a lot of times I needed it, so I put it to the use that I needed it for at the time. But ultimately, that is not what changed my life. My dad cut me off at 30. Send me $500 saying this is the last you're going to get. So if you can imagine, right? And that's fine. I don't knock my dad for doing that. However, you failed in almost every aspect of being a father. When it comes down to protecting your kid, you did not do that. And because I was so blinded by the fact that I was a daddy's girl and the past, not the reality, but the past. Do you know how many people came to me and was like, see, this ain't your daddy? Like, this ain't what fathers do. This ain't a dad. My dad was when I came to Colorado, it was like out of sight, out of mind. My daddy should have never, knowing what he knows now, he should have never allowed that shit to happen. But what he tells me is, oh, well, you know, I didn't actually adopt you. Right. That's why I went through everything else, because I was nobody's fucking kid. Okay. See, I made a promise to my daughter, and it's very unfortunate, but it is what it is. You're not going to know fake love the way I known that shit. See, because my whole life I heard that I was loved, but the actions of the people never really showed me that, right? When things got difficult, it was, oh, I'm not your parent no more. I'm not your mama no more. Oh, okay, cool. So now everybody's about to die off. And unfortunately, the beef is only with the elders, right? It ain't like, listen, all of my family knows the fucked up history. They all know it ain't nothing new. So why do they think like if they was to die today? I don't recall being in anybody's will. I'm not nobody's adopted kid, right? I'm not adopted. These ain't my parents, right? You're my cousin's husband. So why the fuck are you calling me on Christmas a year after the fact? What, to wish me a Merry Christmas? I'm not nobody's goddamn charity case. I don't need your sympathy. I'm having a great Christmas. And I damn sure ain't gonna have no conversation with nobody. So they need to know so you can go gossip about what you think I got going on. Last time I checked, I moved into my place and these motherfuckers want to go running their mouth talking about my cousin had the nerve to tell me, CC, she said, now she's my cousin, so this ain't a direct bloodline. Let me be clear, right? We definitely share different bloodlines. She calls me and says, well, Cece, we're talking. She says, you know how schizophrenia runs through our family, right? And I'm thinking, bitch, I ain't never been diagnosed with no goddamn schizophrenia. And it may run through your bloodline, but I ain't never heard of no schizophrenia running through my bloodline. Bipolar, maybe, right? But again, it's hard because my blood mom is on drugs and everything else. So it ain't no telling what really we have in our family or not, unless my grandparents were here, right? Because my mom could be just a case of whatever. That don't mean that that runs through my family. That my mama went through a lot of shit. So the things that they say, oh, well, she got what she got because she's got disability. You wait, whoa. Disability? You mean to tell me I live this good, I look this good because of disability? I mean, maybe disability is paying people, folks, but last time I checked, that ain't me. So the fact that these conversations have been had, the fact that, like I said, and I'm sure I got a lot to work through. I told you guys that I am writing my story. I personally do not have time for the fuck shit. I do not deserve the fuck shit. I do not deserve to have to wonder why you're my daddy, quote unquote. I'm calling you father, quote unquote, but how come you wasn't the one to save me? How come it took a white man to save me? Meanwhile, I had been crying out to my family time and time again. I need your help. I'm doing everything in my power. Do you know how many times I cried to my dad? Like, I don't understand why I can't get ahead. And let me be very clear. A lot of my situation was the lack of support. And I mean genuine support. It's always easy to give support when the image is necessary, but genuine support is a long time. You understand me? So with my father calling me, I don't think that I'm gonna call him back. I may send a text like Merry Christmas. But the reality of it is I live every day knowing I'm not your kid, right? I don't feel like your daughter, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be your daughter. You know what I mean? Your daughter was living with you, right? That's who you need to be wishing a Merry Christmas. As far as me, I feel like people only reach out to me because they feel fucking bad for their choices. I don't need a charity case phone call. I don't need an afterthought phone call like all of a sudden at 10 o'clock on New Year's or Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. Now I'm going to call my daughter. The fuck? That ain't no, that. Listen, y'all, I'm not the same person. I've turned into a very much a monster in that regards. I'm not playing with nobody. You don't want to show me the love that I know I deserve. I don't have to tolerate you. I don't have to call you. I don't have to speak to you. This is why a year has gone by and I've not talked to my daddy. And let me be clear, that is not normal for our relationship. I've changed. I am not the same. I have boundaries and I refuse to tolerate anything less than unconditional love. If it's not love, I don't want it. So if you can pick and choose when you want to love me, and then on Christmas, oh, all of a sudden, oh yeah, I forgot. Let me call Cece. No, nigga. Nope. Like I said, I'm not nobody's daughter. I used to be a daddy's girl all the way. That shit died. That was done. That was over with. So I know I've got a lot of things to work through, and I forget about it because I ain't talked to my dad. So I ain't had a reason to really think about him. You understand me? I think the last time, yeah, it's been a whole year since the last time I talked to my daddy. The fuck? Listen, I don't care. I don't care. That's what my daughter says. I don't care. I don't care. Shoot. Like, I care, but I realize, you guys, no amount of talking I'm going to do is ever going to change what I've been through. There have been many a times where I've sat to try to talk to my parents and they gaslight me. They try to act like shit didn't happen the way it happened. They got all these excuses for why they did what they did. And I'm at a point where I don't mind apologies, but when I still feel a level that the shit's still going on, I'm good. I'm really good. So this is where I'm at, y'all. I'm finna get ready. I got my house deep cleaned. I need to finish deep cleaning. I got bookkeeping to do. But yeah, y'all, I'm ready to enjoy my Christmas. I worked hard for this. I'm excited. I'm really excited for Christmas. I don't know why. It's not like I get any presents, but I am. I'm just glad that I was able to do it this year, right? That's it. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. Wish y'all a great Christmas. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.